Hey, I'm Doug with Tilmor, and we're going to talk about the Power Ox Hitch. The Power Ox Hitch is uniquely designed to where you can remove it from the tool. This is actually a 2-inch square tube that can also be used, and like any other receiver hitch you might have available on the farm. And that can be helpful if you want to move tools around. But in this case, it allows us to change the height of the tool quickly. So as you can see, it can be installed in with this taller portion down or up. And that changes the position of the tool about 2 inches. We also have these bolts that control the sway of the tool. So depending on whether you want it up or down, you have the choice of which holes to put this into. So if we want a tool to be lower into the ground, we'll switch this down and we'll put in these sway bolts. It's got 2 nuts that oppose each other, so you can adjust how much sway you want. So you can see how they function. One nut goes against the other, and then the bolt can be moved in or out. So we'll want to have this bolt in there same place or the same height. And usually it's good to have a little movement, but not a lot. So allowing that bolt head to come close to your hitch keeps that sway to a minimum when you're in the field, and also when you're lifting a tool at the end of the field, you don't want the tool to be swaying back and forth and bumping your shins. So it's good to take out a lot of that sway. But if you need more for some reason, you want to be able to turn the machine a little sharper, then you would want to make those bolts look a little bit more like this side, where the bolt is turned in and there isn't much thread showing. So you can see the difference there. Normally we would want the same amount of thread showing on both sides. So I'll adjust that here on this one soon. Okay, now we'll move down and install the bolt or the receiver hitch onto the Power Ox. And that slides into the tube and insert our pin. And there is a keeper cotter pin that goes on here too, but we'll just insert this for now. Now this bolt is important because if it's loose, then this tube is rather loose inside the other tube. So by tightening this bolt down, we take away that movement. There. Now your hitch isn't wobbling back and forth too much. Got a little nut, a jam nut, and we're tight. Now you see we have these 2 bolts. They're not adjusted uniformly, so we're going to try to straighten that up. And this is usually best to do while the tool is attached so that we can make it uniform and we'll understand how this works. So I'll bring the tool in. Now we're going to insert a tool. And you can see what the difference it makes to have those bolts. The sway of the tool is controlled by where these bolts sit. So if we want less sway, we make these bolts more thread show. And if we want more sway, we tighten that up, or we turn the bolt so that fewer threads show. So we're going to leave it about right there. Try to get it uniform from side to side, and we'll tighten up our bolts. And you can tighten up either side of the bolt, or either side of the plate, rather. So that's enough to give you an idea. But that way, okay, we'll take our kickstand away now, because the tool is installed. Pin up our kickstand, and now we can lift our tool and it doesn't flop all around. But you want enough sway to be able to drive straight, and when you're going down the field with small corrections, you're able to stay on a row. Now you can see the effect of the adjustment of the bolts on the hitch. It controls how much the tool can move back and forth. You want enough sway so that when you're going through the field with small corrections of the machine, the tool will track perfectly straight on your row. You don't want too much sway, so that when you lift the machine at the end of a row, you get a large amount of sway and the machine would flop over and hit you in the shin. So a little bit, not too much. And that concludes the hitch for the Power Ox.